Hey guys, it's Ashley. Welcome back to my channel. Whether you are brand new or a returning viewer, thank you so much for stopping by today for yet again another speed build. And I hope you decide to stick around for the entirety of the video because today we are building what I think I'm gonna call family cottage. I don't know if I want to incorporate the word cute or definitely not tiny. This build is not a tiny home by any means. It's actually very spacious, especially downstairs. You will see as the build comes a little bit more together and we move on into the floor plan. But yeah, I think I'm gonna call it a family cottage. I envisioned it would be really cute to have, you know, two parents living here with toddlers, and I figured let's just make them twins. I mean, twins are so cute, kind of adds to the cute aesthetic here, and I just feel like since this lot is very often its own in the Bramblewood, is it just called Bramblewood or is it like Bramblewood Forest? I really don't know, but it's in the neighborhood called Bramblewood in like the upper left corner of the map of Henford-on-Bagley. I had to think about it for a second, but I just thought it would be really cute. It is very tucked away, so I figured that making this family very family oriented and just having twins, just, I don't know, it just made it seem so much cuter. And as the build came more together too, I thought it would just be really nice to make this family have twins, especially toddlers. Like, I just felt that having and like raising kids on a very beautiful property like this would just really instill in them like nature's great, you love animals, we're kind to all the animals around us, and I just thought it would be a really cute idea. So that's what I went for here. This lot is a 30 by 20 lot. I believe when I first wrote down my notes, it was originally 80,360 simoleons, and then I added a few more things. I really don't remember what did I add. I added a few things, and I think it ends up being like 85,000 and some odd simoleons. So it's a little bit of a pricier build, but it does have pretty much everything your Sims need, adults and toddlers, and anywhere in between. Obviously, your toddlers are going to become kids and teens, and everyone has plenty of activities to do here, but especially if you were to download this build off of the gallery right now, it is equipped well for toddlers. So if you do want to download this off the gallery, and you should follow me over there as well, because I do builds every week. Sometimes I try to upload rooms and things like that throughout the week, just so there's other content and not just strictly builds for you guys. But you can follow me over on the EA gallery. My ID is ashleyyangelinaa with 2 Y's and 2 A's at the end of Angelina. It's pretty much the same as my Instagram as well, so you may as well just hit a follow. Follow me over there. Hit the follow button. I don't know, that was like, I kind of combined the two, but it's the same, ashleyyangelinaa with 2 Y's and 2 A's at the end of Angelina. But like I was saying, this build is on a 30 by 20 lot. This is Cordelia's secret cottage. So like I said, it's in the upper left-hand corner. I haven't really messed around with the lots on Henford-on-Bagley too much yet. And I think it was because I was still getting comfortable using all of like the cottage items. So when I say that, I mean, I definitely use a ton of cottage living items when it comes to like kitchens. They go so well with the country kitchen kit. And I think it just gives it like a nice little whimsical and just cluttered, very country-esque feel to it, especially in kitchens. I can clutter up a kitchen like there's no tomorrow, and you will see very shortly here that that's what I do. And honestly, this kitchen is one of my favorites. It takes a while for it to come together. You'll see I move things around a ton kind of later in the build because I'm very uncomfortable with how big this kitchen ends up being. So like I said, this build is very spacious downstairs, and upstairs it's a little bit smaller, but honestly, your Sims have everything they need, so it really works out. But I think when it comes to like the cottage living items and that whole pack in general, when it comes to like the exterior items like the roofing trim, just like those different, little random items to kind of make the outside of your build come together, I just don't really know how to go about it. So I, a lot of the times, build bungalow homes, and those are kind of more on the basic side, and you can make them look super cute with plants and like hanging plants and different decorative items, but they're all kind of the same. And I feel like when it comes to cottages, of course you come across cottages that do totally look, not identical, but they look very similar. But I don't know, I just feel like cottages, when I think of building a cottage like I did here, I just feel all this pressure like to make it just be the cutest and make it look super whimsical, and I feel like that's not my build style. Well, I know that's not normally my build style, but considering I did end up making a very cute cottage here, which I'm saying that with a smile on my face because I'm proud of myself. This build took me so long. I want to say this build probably took me close to like 4 hours, honestly. And then when I went through and was playtesting and taking screenshots, there's always things that I feel like I need to change or add. So a lot of the times, well, I don't want to say a lot of the times, but in some of my builds, I'll go through and I play test, and like I said, I'll take screenshots and all that at one time, and I end up adding things or moving things because something's non-functional, and I don't add it into the actual speed build, but you'll see it in the screenshots. So whatever you see in screenshots is what you're gonna get if you do decide to download the build off the gallery, because I don't want the builds to be way too long, and I don't want to add in unnecessary footage for you guys. It's just extra stuff, you know what I mean? It's really not that big of a deal. So anyway, I think the screenshots and just this house just ended up being so cute. I'm very proud of it, and I'm glad it turned out so well, and then I'm glad that I am proud of this build because, again, it took me like 4 hours, so it's not that's not a lot of time, you know? So but here, I did something very different. So like I said, this kitchen especially was so ginormous, and I feel like, I mean, I've never been out of the country, sad, very unfortunate. I know it sounds like crazy, but anyway, I've never been out of the country, so I've never actually seen houses that are like this in real life because I live in the United States, I live in California. This is so not the aesthetic here. And I feel like when I think of like an old farmhouse or a cottage kind of like this, I feel like the living spaces, especially kitchens, I feel like are so big. And of course it depends on the size of the house, but I just felt it was very appropriate to have a really big kitchen in here, but it was still too big, and I didn't want to have a formal dining room. I just wanted there to be one place where everyone sits, whether it's family, friends, guests, things like that. So what I did, as you can see, is I made this adorable little nook for, like, it's like a laundry nook, kind of. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a laundry room, even though technically with the spandrels, it does end up making it its own room, but it's still very open, and there are these curtains here. Of course, in The Sims, you can't close the curtains, which I really wish you could, because that would be really nice. I personally like to have my curtains closed at night unless I have the window open or something, but I just kind of wanted to make it seem like maybe The Sims here kind of close the curtains a little bit from time to time, and if not, then it's honestly just an aesthetic thing, and it's just really cute. Cottages are just adorable, so I felt that the curtains were appropriate here, and I wanted to kind of keep it a European style apartment. What? Apartment? I actually just did a voiceover for an apartment, but that's probably why I said that. But I wanted to still make this build very European because I feel that this is somewhere in the UK, somewhere in the countryside. I kind of imagine it's like kind of near where they where they film the British Bake Off. I really don't know where that's filmed, but I know it's somewhere in the UK, and when they zoom out on the big tent where everyone's baking, I feel like it's super country-ish. So that's how I kind of like pictured this build, and I pictured it being somewhere kind of there, wherever that is. So I wanted to still very much make this build very European, and I've noticed in, European like vloggers and just people that are from like the UK especially, I feel like they have a washer in their kitchen and then they don't have a dryer and then they just hang their clothes. So that's what I did here. I wanted to make it kind of true to what I know. I could be a little naive, I guess. I don't fully have knowledge on this because, again, I live in the United States. I live in California. So we have laundry rooms with washers and dryers. And if we don't have laundry rooms, we have like a little closet that has like a washer and dryer. And it's pretty rare where you have just a washer and no dryer. It's kind of always comes in pairs like that. So I definitely want to do that, and So that's what I did, and I ended up kind of like running out of space to actually put a washer, and there's no good way to really put like a countertop style like surface on top of it. And I would love if like your Sims could actually like use the top of the washer or dryer even to like prepare food still. Like I feel like it kind of makes sense. So anyway, that's why it's off in the nook, and I only ended up placing a washer and not a dryer. So there is a clothes rack out in the backyard. When we get there, you'll see it. And since we were talking about the washer, even though we've like now completely moved on from that and we already like furnished an entire bathroom downstairs, we'll get there, sorry, but we have plenty of time to talk. This is a rather longer build, but the only thing that is non-functional in the laundry room is the actual sink that I placed in there. And to be honest, I wasn't completely against it because I really wouldn't want my Sims, and this is just me being picky, but if my Sims were eating at the table and then they went to like clean up the dishes, I wouldn't want them to not use their beautiful farmhouse sink in the kitchen and like walk over into the little laundry nook and do their dishes in there. So as stupid as it sounds, it's always nice to have an extra sink. I didn't want them to use that one, so it kind of worked. I ended up just placing that little kind of like rolling style hamper or laundry basket, what have you, underneath it. So that is what makes it non-functional. And if you wanted to make it functional, you can just delete it and then you're good to go. But now we've moved on into like this little painting room. So I didn't know what I wanted to do downstairs initially. I didn't know if I wanted to have another bedroom down here. Sorry, I'm like cracking my knuckles. I just realized it's super loud. Or if I wanted there to be an office, but honestly, I just did not see the Sims living here having like an office job. And I guess you don't have to have an office job where you work from home, or you can have the option to work from home to have an office. You can have an office and just have like books in there, or you can just have a desk and your computer. Like it could literally be just like a computer room, honestly. But I just didn't see that here. So I ended up making this like a little kind of like art studio, whether one of the parents or one of the kids, when they get older, when they're a child or a teen, they decide to take on painting. This could be like the little area where they do all their painting. And I did cut out the floor plan here. Wait, did I? I did. Well, I only cut out the floor plan, now that I think about it. I only cut out the floor plan for the downstairs because, again, like I said, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I cut it out, and honestly, not a big deal. You didn't really miss much. And then over here, we've now moved on into this little knitting nook. So this house has lots of little nooks and crannies, quite literally. I just thought that this would be super cute. Again, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with this little pop-out area. So I wanted, and I honestly knew it would be a really good sitting area, whether it was like a little area where you read books, like if I was going to put a bookcase in there. But then I just ended up making it a little knitting nook, and I think that's a really cute little name for it. And it's honestly perfect. The lighting in there is great, and I think the rocking chairs look really good there. To me, it makes perfect sense for a cottage. So again, it just flowed super well. And honestly, putting together this build, it didn't come naturally necessarily until I had the floor plan fully figured out. So once I had this like little art studio in here and I created this nook, I was like, okay, now this is the perfect sized living room and kind of like family room. So I just felt like before it was a little too big. So as you can see, this downstairs is rather spacious. We have an entire full bathroom down here. We have a little laundry nook. We have a knitting nook. We have a family room. We have plenty of seating for people to eat, whether they have guests over, if they have a birthday party or something. There's plenty of places for everyone to sit and eat a formal meal together. And yeah, there's just still plenty of room for activities, even in the backyard. And you'll see as we get out there, I can't remember if I cut out all of the footage or just some of it, but oh my gosh, I struggled placing an animal shed, but we'll get there when the time comes. And here I do end up placing a piano. So it is a keyboard, it is the keyboard from City Living. And I've seen a couple of builders do this, but someone specifically that I've seen do it multiple times is Simlissy. So if you want to check out her builds, honestly, she's an amazing builder. She uploads a lot too. I want to say she uploads at least once or twice a week, but her name is Simlicy, Simlissy. Her builds are also very cozy, and I don't know, I just love the aesthetic of her builds, and she has a sweet voice, and it's just her builds and just her videos in general are very comforting to watch, and I do get a lot of inspiration from her, so I guess I just give her a little shout out. But I ended up making a more traditional, like, enclosed piano. So of course in The Sims we either have the keyboard or we have those huge grand pianos, and to me those are total overkill. No one ever has enough space for that. I mean, of course there's large homes and I could have probably totally fit one here, but it just didn't go, and so it's just not the right aesthetic for me in this build. But I did end up kind of making it like a little custom piano. So I ended up using the, I guess they're not side tables, they're more like console tables, or like kind of like cabinets almost, or I guess you could call it like a buffet table. I'm trying to throw out so many words there just so you kind of like know what I'm talking about, but those are from, I believe, Cats and Dogs, and I just flipped them around so they were facing the wall, and then I, used my 9 key to raise the bottom one up, and so it just looks like, a traditional wall piano where it's just not so freaking big. So that's what I did, and again, I completely owe that to Simlessy. I literally would have never thought of doing that. I honestly, if I would have thought of doing it and did it, I'd be like, there's no way this is functional, and I probably wouldn't even have tried. So I'm glad that I know that it is functional, so your sim can totally reach it too. I thought that little area over there was a little bit crammed, but turns out it's not. So now I believe we're moving on upstairs. I'm just kind of copy and pasting some doors from downstairs to upstairs, and I left in the floor plan, but then I did the flooring off camera because who cares, honestly. You can tell and you can see it in the screenshots. Once again, I will always kind of bring that up and let you guys know, just in case you're like, wait, I missed something. Don't worry, you didn't really miss anything. You didn't miss anything. And here is where I decided we're doing twins. We are having twins in this build. I just think it'll be so cute. Just the little toddler beds, they're so adorable. They're so miniature, and they look so cozy. And so I thought 2 of them side by side like this were adorable. I do end up moving them to the other wall, just kind of like off to the right of where we are now. And I just felt like they were just too in the way, and I didn't really know how to decorate or incorporate any more toys in here. So I do end up moving them over onto that wall, and I think we end up placing that little mushroom cap chair, or I guess it's more of like a seat, but I want to say it's from Cottage Living. I could be wrong, but you'll see I end up placing it at the end of the 2 beds. It's just kind of in between the 2, just for like a little place for your Sims to sit and read a book, or one of the parents can sit there while the toddler's sitting on the bed and they can have a conversation, or your little toddlers can nap there. And then I thought that it would be really perfect to make this household have a llama. So I know that I'm pretty sure that the toy that I placed down, or it's more of like a decorative item, your Sims can't actually like interact with that toy except for go up to it and say, what's that? But I'm pretty sure it's an alpaca, but I just thought it would be really cute to have some kind of hints of like llama in this house. So I do end up placing the little llama toy right here. Of course that ends up in your Sims inventory or in the toy box, but it's cute for screenshots, and then you get the point and I talk about it, and then you guys are like, oh cute, they have a llama. And then the kids of course love like llama and alpaca stuff. So to me it made perfect sense, and it was cute because it was like a little bit of a theme. And yeah, so we're just kind of what do we call this? We're kind of cluttering up the room just a tad, nothing too crazy. Again, I didn't really know how to configure this room, so I'm glad it ended up turning out the way it did, because it does look really cute and the beds are totally functioning. Your Sims can be put to bed and read to bed simultaneously, so there's plenty of room for, technically all 4 of the Sims that would potentially be living here to be in that room, and I think it works out super well. And then now we've moved on into the master bedroom, or I guess like the primary bedroom. I know some people call it primary, so figure may as well throw it in there so you guys know what I'm talking about. But when I say a master bedroom, I mean master in the sense that there's an ensuite bathroom. So as you can see, there's an ensuite bathroom to the left of where we are right now. And I do end up slightly changing the shape of it later, again off camera, but you'll see in the screenshots. Wait, the screenshots might actually be slightly different. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and change that so you guys, damn it. Anyway, really not that big of a deal. The only thing that changes is the slight shape of the bathroom, but everything is still in the same place, if that makes any sense. But I just ended up cluttering up this room just a tad with a chair, some candles, those like little stackable boxes that I imagine are like shoe boxes or storage boxes kind of, but a little bit more decorative, off to the corner like near the chair. And I end up placing a little shoe rack here, so that way your Sims you can determine if your Sims are going to walk around in the house in their shoes or their slippers or barefoot. I just think it's kind of nice to incorporate that now that that is part of the update. I just thought that was kind of a nice touch. I always loved the idea of my Sims walking around the house, in their day clothes, but barefoot, because that's what I do. I mean, I have slippers, especially this time of year, I wear slippers, but it just makes it seem more realistic, and I don't know, it's just cuter for gameplay. Like, I just loved seeing like my Sims. It seems like they were more cozy, you know what I'm saying? But now we've moved on into the master bathroom. So I felt that these showers, which it's like a shower tub combo, I felt they were very appropriate for this build, because I just imagine that cottages in general are rather old, because it's a very old building style, and I felt that the actual like shower tub combo with the curtain is rather old school, but they still look really cute in my opinion. There's probably some builders or some of you like players out there that are like, I hate that shower tub combo, but I like it. I think it's cute, and I honestly prefer it when it comes to these older houses. I just think it just makes way more sense. So that's what I ended up doing in all three of the bathrooms, because there is the full bath downstairs, the master bathroom, and then there is a bathroom in the hallway near the kids' bedrooms, or one bedroom rather. But now we've moved on outside, and I end up using a ton of live edit objects, and pretty much exclusively from Cottage Living. I believe there's some base game as well, but it's just so much easier to navigate through this catalog here with having some kind of filter. So I filtered it to Cottage Living. That way I could place all the really cool items. And honestly, the Cottage Living pack came with so many good and just really good looking plants in the live edit objects menu. So I really want to incorporate those here. I know a ton of people, when it comes to building and just having a house that is really cutely decorated inside and outside, is very important. It makes it feel more realistic. It's more fun to play in, and not that your Sims ever really notice the live edit objects at all, because they're technically not there to them. They don't see it. They can't interact with them. I just feel like it just looks so much more fun, and honestly, who's the fun for? It's for us. We're the ones playing and building here, but honestly, I play probably just as much as I build. Now I'd say maybe I build a little bit more than I play, just because I do have this channel and I upload once a week, but I just love playing and seeing all these beautiful plants, and just very realistic. It's just very realistic looking. I love when my game feels realistic, and so my Sims are like walking around their backyard, whether they're like cooking or entertaining guests or gardening. It's just so nice to see these beautiful plants in the background, and it just makes the build seem that much more special and just more fun to play in, honestly. But I just, like I said, I do a ton of Cottage Living plants here. I ended up kind of combining the really more vibrant green colors with the darker color greens as well. I just felt like it would kind of be more realistic to have a mixture, honestly. But sometimes I feel like the darker plants, like the darker swatches in the live edit objects or the debug menu, can be a little bit too harsh, especially if you look at the grass on this lot. It's just very vibrant, and it's very light green almost. So I try to incorporate both swatches when I can. So here you can see we have lots of different colored greens here, and I just think it's a nice combination. Here I did try moving the house off to like more of the right of the lot a little bit, but it just wasn't gonna work for whatever reason. I really don't know why. I was able, or could have been able, to move it back, but I wanted there to be more space off to the left side of the house. Like if you were looking over the house, like eagle eye view, I wanted it to be, more to the right, so I would have more room for the llama shed. So It ended up, whoa, what am I trying to say? I ended up having to move that llama shed so many times once I was playtesting here, because if you haven't played with the Cottage Living pack yet, the animal sheds, whether you have a cow or a llama in it, doesn't matter. The animal shed in general just takes up so much grid space that I had it so close to the house that it was technically in my kitchen and it was right where my stove was, so my Sims wouldn't cook on the stove, and I couldn't figure out why, because I had a teapot on the stove and I was like, well, the tea kettle has never been an issue before, like what is it? And then I realized it was the llama shed, so I had to move it around so many times. It's almost technically not on the lot. I think when you go to download this though, it is there, so don't worry. But when my Sims go to tend to the llama, they're technically like off of their property, but honestly it doesn't really matter. So anyway, I think we're actually getting pretty close to the screenshots. So I kind of rambled through this entire build, but I felt it was kind of necessary. I feel like I talked about pretty necessary things that were still related to the build. So I apologize if rambling is not your guys' style, but it's just who I am, and I'm sorry. And I do try to keep it to a minimum. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy the screenshots. I did add in some video clips to this build today. I just felt like it would just go so perfect with the cute aesthetic here. But I hope you guys did enjoy, and make sure to follow me over on Instagram and Twitter and on the EA Gallery, and I hope to see you guys in a future build. Bye!